Today, we're going to review for the first test in economics over economic fundamentals. This test is going to cover scarcity, trade-offs, opportunity costs, marginal costs and benefits, utility, factors of production, circular flow diagram, the production possibilities curves, economic systems, basic economic questions, and market failures. The first term is scarcity, and this means that we have limited resources to satisfy our unlimited wants. We want a nice car, money, a nice house, a trip, but we can't have all of it. And because of scarcity, we have to make choices among our options, and these are also known as trade-offs. We may want a full meal, or maybe we'll want an ice cream cone. Which one? The opportunity cost of any choice you make is your next best alternative, what you would have chosen to buy or do if you hadn't made the choice that you did. So if you decide for an ice cream cone, then maybe your opportunity cost is that full meal that you decided against. A marginal cost is the additional cost from adding one more unit of an item. And similarly, the marginal benefit is the amount of enjoyment or use, sometimes called utility, that you get from one additional unit of an item or an activity. So we may have to pay the same amount for our second or third or fourth ice cream cone, but we probably don't get the same enjoyment from those later ones. The economy consists of four factors of production that go into making products and providing services. Those four are land or natural resources, labor, capital, and the entrepreneurial ability of people that put those factors together into a business. The factors of production are part of the circular flow of the economy, a very important model in economics. In the circular flow model, you'll see businesses and households meet at the product market and the resource market. Businesses take their products to the product market where households buy them. Households take their resources, like their labor, to the resource market where they go to businesses. Money flows in the opposite direction. Money goes from households to the product market where businesses take it. Then businesses take that money to the resource market and pay households for their resources. Government is involved in all of these. A production possibilities table or a production possibilities frontier will show all the various combinations of production of two goods that are possible when using all resources efficiently. When drawing the frontier, also known as a curve, make sure you label the axis and put the maximum amount of each product on the appropriate axis. This curve illustrates the opportunity cost when you move from one place on the curve to another. So as you see, when you move from point D to point E on the curve, you may gain 15 units of product B, but that will cost you 10 units of product A. You can calculate the opportunity cost from one point to the next. Every point on the production possibilities curve is an efficient use of resources and is just a choice you make about how you want to use those resources. However, a point inside the curve, like point X here, shows that you're using resources inefficiently. A point like Y is unable to be attained with the resources you have currently. If a firm or a country has an increase in resources, like more workers or discovery of a natural resource, then the entire curve can move outward. Some production possibilities curves show a constant opportunity cost, which is shown with a straight line as the curve. But other production possibility curves show an increasing opportunity cost. This is illustrated by a curve that's bowed outward. There are three types of economic systems: the traditional system, which would be including the barter system and would be appropriate to hunter-gatherer communities. The command system, where the government makes all the decisions and owns the factors of production, and the market system, where businesses and consumers make the decisions about what is bought and sold. Most countries have mixed economies, somewhere on the continuum between a command economy and a market economy. This is where the United States is. Each of these systems have different answers to the three basic economic questions, which are what should we produce, how should we produce it, and for whom should we produce it. They also differ in how well they address each of the 8 economic goals that most countries have. These include security, efficiency, stability, full employment, price stability, equity, freedom, and sustainability, with market economies doing well with freedom and less so with security. Though the market system is good at producing most things for the price people will pay and is profitable for businesses, sometimes that isn't true, and these are called market failures. In these cases, the government usually needs to step in. Sometimes the government just provides the good or service. These are called public goods and would be things like roads, fire protection, and education. Another kind of market failure is an externality. A negative externality is when the cost of the good to the consumer doesn't cover all the costs of making that good. For example, a high polluting car causes people living near it higher healthcare costs, but those aren't included in the price of the car. Governments can address the negative externalities with either regulation or with taxes. So they may pass a rule that requires that they produce cars that pollute less, or maybe they will pass a tax on these that will discourage that behavior while also producing money that can be used to fix the problem. A positive externality is a product or service that gives benefits greater than its costs, and often governments want to encourage this. This might be something like education, which makes the whole society better, not just the students receiving it. Governments can encourage these behaviors by regulations, like we do with compulsory education laws here in the United States that require every person to go to school between the ages of 6 and 16, or with subsidies. A subsidy is a government payment toward an activity, or it may be a discount on that activity. For K through 12 education, the government just pays this with money, but for higher education, they give a discount to students to go to college in their states. You'll know you're ready for this test when you can draw production possibilities curves and circular flow models from memory. You can explain the various points on the graphs and what they mean. You can show how each part of the economy works through that circular flow model. You can analyze market failures and determine the best course of action to correct it, explain the different economic systems and how they answer the basic economic questions, and define and give examples of all the terms. Research says that when you study, doing is better than reading. So you should draw graphs, make note cards, make up questions and answer them. Look in your class notebook and redo homework assignments. And if you can't do any more, watch those Jacob Clifford videos on YouTube. Good luck, everyone. Remember, when you study your best for the test, you'll do your best on the test, and no one can ask more than that of you.